Previously on Toniverse.
Hello, my name is Antonio, and this is the commentary for Cooking with Brennen anime. This is the fourth episode of Cooking with Brennen, season 2. And I don't have the most experience with the anime genre of entertainment. I've never watched. The only anime that I've really consumed before is the Pokemon anime, and I know that a good amount of people don't even really consider that to be true anime, just because it's a lot more Americanized than a lot of other animes. But bottom line is, I don't know a whole lot about anime. It's something that I definitely want to get into at some point, but when I was making this episode, I did not know a whole lot about anime, but I knew I wanted to do some kind of anime episode for this season because Brendan loves anime and he's very outspoken about that. And I wanted to just incorporate, this is a series about Brennan. At the end of the day, I wanted to incorporate aspects of his interests in this season alongside things that I wanted to personally do with it. And I overall, I wanted to do an anime episode, but like I say in the episode, I don't have a lot of knowledge about anime, but I think I had enough to make a coherent episode around it. Obviously if I was more involved in the medium, I probably could have made it a little bit more of a faithful sort of episode in that regard. But overall, I'm happy with how this came out. This was another one that I knew was going to be a lot more of an elaborate editing job in comparison to other Cooking with Brennan episodes. Kind of like the gamer episode, but I was for it. I was just you know what? I want to do an anime episode and I am going to do it no matter what it takes. So that is what we decided to do. And I know Brendan was super pumped to do it. I think he actually said this is one of his favorite episodes, if not his favorite episode of this season. And so I mean, in that regards, I think it came out well. I'm proud of it for that reason. And yeah, no, this was I think what I like about this one is it feels kind of like it's a pretty standard episode. And I think it kind of it's just oh yeah, this is just a standard Cooking with Brennan episode, but there's an anime sort of, I don't know, vibe to it, I guess. But throughout the first half of it, but then, in the second half, I feel it kind of hits you out of nowhere. Oh, we're going to do an anime fight now. Oh, shoot. Okay. And that's what I really like about it. I feel it kind of subverts expectations a little bit. I mean, maybe people could have expected that this was going to happen. But I think it kind of, I think it came out well. It kind of feels a little bit of a shock. Oh shoot, this is happening. And I remember I really wanted to bring back Stabby, which is a character, very obscure Toniverse character, which I don't think was in any other videos other than the video that I introduced him in, which was a very obscure skit that me, at least in my mind, it's a very obscure skit that me and Brennan did back in 2016 for a Sunday Funnies video, which was another series that I had where I just did a lot of very short skits. And I brought back Stabby from that, he was just all he was essentially just a talking teddy bear. We called him an ass bear, as in he was an assassin bear. And in that video, we didn't really show off anything to show that he was a quote unquote assassin. So I kind of wanted to make up for that in this video. To where he wields a knife and he's very aggressive, and I don't know. I just wanted to bring Stabby back, and I don't really feel it was ever established in that video that he's enemies with Brennan. But this video is kind of the way that that's established. He's the big bad that Brennan has to take down in this video. And I think that was a fun thing to incorporate into it. But yeah, the edits for this video took me a while. I mean, I think it took me a solid, an entire night to really do it all. I remember sitting in my room in February. I think it was the night before this video went up. Sitting in my room, just working nonstop on the small little edits for the anime battle scene mainly. But it was super fun though to put it all together. And Brennan kind of helped me out with the kinds of stuff that we could do with it, because like I said, I don't have a whole lot of experience with the anime genre and the different tropes. I'm fairly aware of certain anime tropes and kind of cliches, but I didn't want to just make it that. I don't know. I wanted to make it a little bit more like not as surface level like anime. I mean, like at the end of the day, I think it is. I think it is like fairly surface level anime references. But you know, it's just fun. Like at the end of the day, like it was just a fun episode to do. And I think, and I like it, you know, Brennan said like he really enjoyed it. So that's enough for me. That's enough for me to say like we did a good job on this one. And I remember a lot of other people, or at least like a couple of my friends, like said they really enjoyed it too. That watch, like my friends that watch anime said that. And so I really, you know, I appreciate that. But yeah, and this is like the first episode of the season that like really sets up future events in future episodes. I don't need, and it's not even like you don't even necessarily know that that's what's happening with this episode, but it is because obviously Stabby does come back later in the season. Spoiler if you haven't seen the other episodes, but yeah, obviously Stabby, it does end up becoming like a recurring character this season. Shout out to Donovan for doing the voice work for that, because like he did the voice work in the original video that Stabby was in, and so I was just like, you know, hey Donovan, you want to do the voice work for this episode too? And so he was just like, yeah. And then it ended up doing the voiceover work for every Stabby appearance, which was cool. But yeah, this episode like does set up, you know, like Brennen and Stabby have a rivalry, and then Brennen like, you know, defeats Stabby, quote unquote, and then he does come back. So it is like a little bit of foreshadowing that we see in this episode, which is kind of neat. It's kind of neat. Also, the anime intro that I made for this, I know I didn't mention that when it came up, but that was a really fun thing to put together. Like that took me a while, more time than I would have expected to make that, just because like, I don't know, I didn't really know what direction I wanted to have it. I remember in the script for the episode, I just wrote "Cooking with Brennan anime intro plays," and I had no like vision for what it would have looked like. I was just like, I'll figure that out later. And then when the time came to like finally edit the video, I was like, damn it, what do I do? But I think it ended up coming out good. I'm really proud of how it ended up looking and sound. I think that the song that I picked to use in it like has a good like anime feel to it. I mean I literally looked up like anime music, like non-copyright anime music, I think, when I was finding it. But yeah, like overall that was a really fun part. Like, oh yeah, this was just a cool one. This was a cool one to do. It was a nice little kind of experimental episode to make for this season. So I enjoy it for that reason. But yeah, that's going to conclude this commentary. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.